Hey everybody, it's Matt Powers. I'm a teacher, author, gardener, seed saver, and family guy. And I teach people all over the world how to live more regeneratively. And the most common complaint I get, the most common thing that's holding people back from accomplishing their dreams, that I get told almost every single day, is that people feel like they're short on time and money. And man, I was there. I know exactly what you're going through. I know what that's like. I was stuck living at my in-laws living in a garage. And I was head of the English department at that local high school. And even, being tenured, it was $700 a month for just the health care. And it is living in California, in the Central Valley. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't afford it. And it was hard. It's like, it feels like we're ashamed of the fact that we can't earn enough doing these jobs that we've been led to believe are pillars of our society and community, but they don't support families. They don't support single income, families or anything like that. And so it was super hard for me. I didn't have enough time to do all the dishes, to do all the cooking, to do the standardized way of doing everything. And so I couldn't take the homework home with me and fill it out. There was no space. I'm living in a garage with 2 little boys and my wife, and they needed me constantly. And so I couldn't just do that. So I had to rethink how I did everything. That's was part of the impetus I had for creating programs without any homework. So I was like, holy cow, I can't dedicate 4 hours at night and then 8 hours during the day, every single day, to my school kids, and then have a family at home. And then I'm thinking about my kids, and I'm like, how are they having relationships with their siblings, their parents and grandparents, if I'm requiring them to do this work, and then I know for a fact that all the other teachers are requiring them to do this much work. So it really came to a head for me early on, that time and money are the pressures. They are the pressures on all of us. And what I initially realized was permaculture was the solution. The problem indicates the solution, right? That's the whole problem, it's the solution thing. And so I realized I was working at a job that wasn't paying enough, but it's also just working at a job for someone else. I realized that, and you realize this whenever you start a business, when you put the time in for yourself and you're not paying yourself to do it, it's simply part of your business, you have an enormous amount of freedom and you can earn so much. You can take seeds that are like a penny a seed. I was explaining this to my son last night. You take a penny a seed and then you plant those seeds and then you grow out these full plants. And I said, is that plant that came from that seed still worth a penny? He's like, no, that's worth more money. It's like, why? What's the difference? He was like, well, time. And he was like, and he was struggling with how to articulate. He's young. And he was struggling how to articulate. And it's like, well, it's the time, it's the effort, it's the energy. Money is energy, and it's one of the forms of all the different forms of capital, 8 forms of capital we talk about. And so we need to look at all the forms of capital. We need to look at how we're organizing our lives, because permaculture starts a process of redesign. We start redesigning our garden, we start redesigning our lives, we start redesigning our brains and our society and everything around us. And so people keep saying what's holding them back from doing permaculture is they're short on time and they're short on money. And my answer is, well, if you're short on time and money, then you need to magnify, you need to make time. Which means you may need to quit that job and start working for yourself. Because, like I said, it scales up so fast and you spend pennies and earn dollars. You start switching things up and you start scaling up your life. And you start designing, you start applying the common sense, the powerful common sense that permaculture brings. Just the simple stuff even, like the PDC kind of stuff, the intro kind of stuff of zonal planning. And you're like, well, if I go out to this job that's all the way over here and I put all this energy in over here and then I'm coming back and I'm only taking this small amount of energy back to my site. That's a lot of travel, a lot of work, a lot of energy. Could I be making the same amount of small energy here on my site, doing things on the site, reducing my footprint? All these different things you start to realize, yes, you can. You absolutely can make as much money. And you can reduce your spending. You can reduce the amount of energy you're using. You can start using other forms of capital. You can start partnering with nature in all these unique ways, so you can start saving money, so you can start saving time, so that you have more autonomy, freedom. And when you work for yourself, when you start, even if you work for other people too, you know what I mean? If you start doing things that generate capital on your own, you will suddenly have all this supplement. You will have all this growth and all this new time and money. So it's a process of redesigning, a process of expansion and connection, and it all has to do with applying permaculture. So the problem is, I can't do permaculture. Well, that's the solution. You got to do permaculture to solve your problems. And so you're like, but Matt, how can I learn permaculture? There are so many podcasts online. There are so many wonderful videos that you can listen to, or watch while you do the dishes. I listen to audiobooks, podcasts, and everything all the time. And then my books are free. My books are free. So if you want to take a PDC, I've got it already on paper. It's free on my website. It doesn't have the workbook component, but it has the textbook, which teaches you the ideas. The workbook component is pretty critical, but just $20, and that's what I paid $1,000 to take. That PDC I translated from the Jeff Lawton PDC, where I got my permaculture design certification, and I translated it into a $20, $30 workbook set, or a textbook workbook set. And this set is allowing people all over the world to dive in. That's why it's being translated. That's what Jeff Lawton had to translate in Arabic. He has more copies of it printed in Arabic than in English. He loves it so much and wants to use it with his programs. So I did that, and that's free. That's on my website. And then Permaculture Student 2, which expands, goes even further. It's cited, it's peer-reviewed. That's also free on my website. And the new course, the Advanced Permaculture Student Online, which is based on that, but expands. And then I also updated that and made the Permaculture Student 2 second edition. It's so amazing. And the workbook that goes with it is even better. I love the workbook. It's my favorite book ever. Yeah. And it's just action, and it's questions, and it's personalized, and it's like directed to you. It's not like this informational thing and it's like asking you questions, and you have to answer and reflect. And it's a book that's going to cause extreme growth in those who read it. Yeah, I'm so excited about it. So if you don't have time and you don't have money, you need to get organized. And how to get organized? Apply permaculture. Start partnering with the patterns around you. Start improving your patterns by being inspired by the patterns of others who are doing it better, by the patterns of nature that shows all the principles that go into best practices for organization. There really is, in the man-made world, we're like organized, we're linear, binary. You look at the natural world is so amazing and creative at organization. So amazing. So I hope that you all join us in the Advanced Permaculture Student Online. And I hope that you feel that your time is malleable, that you aren't locked into that job, that you can start claiming your time, and that you can start conserving money so you have more, and then saving money by growing things, by producing things, by connecting and using other forms of capital, by applying permaculture at an advanced level. You will be able to find that time. You will be able to find those resources. And speaking of, I understand how that all works too. That's why I have payment plans on my courses. That's why I have scholarships for my courses. And that's why I have so many of my resources for free. So if you need help, I'm here to help. And the amazing thing is permaculture will always pay you back, always help. And that's why people who get involved in permaculture can't help just to give and pay it forward and to teach and to, because it's an amazingly addictive thing when you start seeing the growth in others and yourselves, the joy that comes. I want it for everyone. And once you have it, once you see it, and if you already know it, you're already doing it, you know? So have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively.